They did everything right, worked 40 years, paid taxes, played by the rules, and now, in the most prosperous country on earth, they're checking their bank balance before buying groceries at 72. This isn't a glitch in the system, this is the system. And the terrifying truth, you might be next. Before we unpack the financial time bomb quietly ticking beneath the surface of America's aging population, make sure you hit that subscribe button. If you care about your money, your future, or your family's survival in the modern economy, this channel gives you the financial clarity others won't. So, like this video and let's dive into what no politician wants to admit. America is facing a retirement crisis of historic proportions, and it's worse than you think. Here's the reality. The median retirement savings for Americans aged 65-74 is around $200,000. Sounds like a decent cushion until you realize that over a 20-year retirement, that breaks down to just $10,000 a year. That's before taxes, before inflation, before healthcare costs, which are expected to average over $300,000 per couple in retirement. Let that sink in. Most people are going to run out of money before they run out of life, and it's not because they didn't try. It's because the economy they were promised simply doesn't exist anymore. Pensions gone, Social Security underfunded and projected to be depleted by 2033 if no action is taken. The 401k, a glorified gamble for workers who were never taught how to invest, only told that the stock market would somehow always save them. Let me tell you about Linda. She worked as a nurse for 38 years, raised 3 kids, saved every extra dollar. But now, at 68, she's back at the hospital, not as a patient, but as part-time staff. Why? Because her savings can't keep up with the rent increases and rising food costs, and she's not alone. According to the US Census Bureau, nearly 19% of Americans aged 65 and older are still working, many because they have no other choice. That number has nearly doubled over the last 3 decades. Retirement, once seen as the reward for a lifetime of hard work, is now a privilege reserved for the wealthy or the extremely lucky. And here's the kicker. This isn't just about baby boomers. Millennials and Gen Z are heading straight into a financial woodchipper unless something changes fast. The average millennial has just over $23,000 in retirement savings, Gen Z even less. Combine that with rising housing costs, massive student debt, wage stagnation and inflation, and it's no surprise that 55% of young Americans believe they'll never be able to retire at all. What we're witnessing isn't just a failure of individual planning, it's a systemic breakdown of the American financial promise. Work hard, save money, and you'll be secure. That story is broken. Let's talk about why. For starters, wages haven't kept up with cost of living. While worker productivity has skyrocketed since the 1970s, real wages have barely moved. That means less surplus to save, especially as housing, healthcare, and education prices continue to explode. Meanwhile, traditional pensions, those reliable monthly checks that used to sustain retirees, have been replaced with 401ks that shift all the risk to the individual. And most Americans simply aren't prepared to manage that risk. In fact, over 40% of workers don't even have access to a retirement plan through their employer. Even for those who do, the average contribution rate isn't nearly enough. And if you think Social Security will be the safety net, think again. The average monthly benefit is just $1,907 in 2025. That's less than $23,000 a year, barely above the poverty line for many households. And if the Social Security Trust Fund is depleted by 2033 as projected, benefits could be slashed by up to 24% unless Congress intervenes. That's not a warning, that's a guarantee unless something changes. And yet, there's no national plan, no coordinated fix, just individuals expected to bootstrap their way into financial security while navigating a system rigged against them. Here's another hard truth. Inflation is eating retirements alive. Over the last 2 years alone, inflation has erased decades of savings for many Americans. A $300,000 nest egg today buys significantly less than it did in 2020. If you're not investing aggressively enough, your money is decaying. If you're investing too aggressively, you're risking major losses during downturns. It's a no-win scenario for millions, especially those already in or near retirement who don't have time to recover from market corrections. So how does this story end? For many, it doesn't end with golden years. It ends with downsizing, with taking in roommates in your 70s, with returning to work in your 80s, with GoFundMe pages for medical bills, with living with your children, not by choice, but because your fixed income can't cover both housing and groceries. The retirement crisis sounds like an abstract policy issue, but it's personal, it's visceral, and it's happening all around us right now. But here's the twist most people don't see coming. This crisis isn't just financial, it's reshaping the structure of American life. Multi-generational households are rising. The labor market is being flooded with older workers, making it even harder for younger ones to find stable employment. Family dynamics are being stretched thin as adult children support aging parents who were failed by the system and politically. This will be a powder keg, as more retirees depend on safety nets that are stretched to the breaking point. The battle over limited federal resources is going to get ugly. We're not just watching a financial collapse, we're watching a slow-motion collapse of expectations, trust, and quality of life. And here's the final reveal I promised. This crisis will not spare the middle class. In fact, it will hit them the hardest. Why? Because they make too much to qualify for most assistance programs, but not enough to secure a worry-free retirement. The rich will be fine. The poor are already used to surviving with less, but the middle, the nurses, the teachers, the truckers, the clerks, they are the ones watching their American dream dissolve paycheck by paycheck. If you think planning is enough, think again. The rules of the game changed, and most people didn't get the memo. So if you're still here, ask yourself, do you know how much you'll need to retire? Do you know how much time you have left to build it? Do you think the system will be there when you're ready? Because the way things are going, out of time and out of savings won't just be a headline. It'll be your reality, unless we wake up. This isn't fear-mongering, it's the reality millions are already living and millions more are about to face. If you recognized your own story in any part of this, whether it's your current savings, your parents' struggles, or the gap between what you've planned and what you'll actually need, then you already know this crisis isn't coming. It's here. Ignoring it won't make it disappear. Wishing for better outcomes won't fix a broken system. What will? Staying informed, running the numbers, asking the hard questions now before time runs out. So take a moment and think about it. How much would you actually need to retire without fear? How much do you have saved? How much time do you have left to close that gap? These aren't comfortable questions, but they are necessary. Because the real danger isn't just running out of money, it's running out of options. If this video helped you see that more clearly, then it's done its job. Like the video to support content that actually respects your intelligence. Subscribe to The Financial Scoop for straight talk on money, policy, and the future of the American middle class. And leave a comment. What's your retirement number and what are you doing to reach it? Because the sooner we start asking better questions, the sooner we can build answers that last.